Hello everyone, it's Anahita Rao back again with the yoga series. So now I'm going to talk about a very important Raj Yoga, which is called the Maha Purush Raj Yoga. There are 5 planets that can bestow this yoga in a chart. So we'll take a look at all 5 planetary manifestations and how they play out. So first of all, what is a Mahapurush Yoga? Anytime a planet is in its own sign or the sign of its exaltation, and also in one of the angular houses, then you have a Mahapurush Raj Yoga. But you have to be able to meet both conditions. So now, what happens when you have one of these yogas in your chart? It's known to mark a person's character, bring them wealth and success and happiness and a good family, depending on, of course, which planet and where it's situated, what we're talking about essentially. Basically the character gets affected in a very favorable way. As with all other yogas, we see the results when the time period of that planet comes in the person's life. So when they're running the dasha of that particular planet, then you have to look out for the results of the Mahapurush Raj Yoga. So as I mentioned, all the 5 physical planets can show this in a chart, with the exception of the sun and the moon and the nodes Rahu, Ketu. All 5 of the rest can produce this yoga. Okay, so let's take it one at a time. So first I'm going to talk about Mars. So Mars produces what's called a Ruchaka yoga, which is one of the 5 Mahapurush Raj Yogas. Now, when does this happen? When Mars is situated either in Aries, Scorpio, or Capricorn. So Aries and Scorpio, we know, are Mars's own sign, and Capricorn is Mars's exaltation sign. So anytime Mars is in one of the 3 signs, in an angle, it has to be in an angle from the Lagna, then it produces the Ruchaka Yoga. Angle meaning in the 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th house, or the 10th house. Ruchaka means sharp or pointed, like a spear. And a spear, of course, is a representation of the planet Mars. And now, what happens when you have this? In this case, what happens is the highest quality of Mars will emerge. So, which essentially means that you can see a person who is very courageous, daring, inventive, takes initiative, takes risks in life. When it's functioning in its highest quality, it means that they will possess the discipline to also seek truth. This person is normally said to be attractive, someone of a charitable disposition, wealthy, and long-lived. So that's Mars. The next we have is Mercury. Mercury produces what's called the Bhadra Yoga, and this is one of the 5 Mahapurush Raj Yogas. Now, when does this happen? When Mercury is in Gemini or Virgo, and in an angle or trine from the Lagna, it produces the Bhadra Yoga. So Bhadra, basically the word itself means blessed or fortunate. And in this case, the highest quality of Mercury will be present, which essentially means that the person will be able to discriminate well, write well, speak well, manage sort of the details of their life well, which leads to success, be fairly well organized, etc. It makes a person quite strong, helpful, successful. Mercury being the planet of intellect, it shows a nature that is sharp and intelligent, and also versatile. So that's with Mercury producing the Mahapurush Yoga. Now we've got Jupiter, and Jupiter produces what's called the Hamsa Yoga, which is one of the 5 Mahapurush Raj Yogas. So now when does this happen? When Jupiter is in Sagittarius, Pisces, or Cancer. So of course Sagittarius and Pisces are Jupiter's own signs, and Cancer is its exaltation. So when Jupiter is in one of these 3 signs and in an angle, so 1, 4, 7, 10, then it forms a Hamsa Yoga. Hamsa, basically, the word itself translates into swan. So a metaphor for spiritual practice. It allows what you might say, the guru in a person to shine through. So their knowledge, their intelligence, their wisdom to shine through. And it gives a very sort of deep connection to God and their teachers and their gurus. And this can bring sort of wisdom and spiritual discipline into the person's life. Okay, so that was with Jupiter. Now we've got Venus. This is what's called the Malavaya Yoga, and this is of course one of the 5 Mahapurush Raj Yogas. So now when does this happen? When Venus is in Libra, Taurus, or Pisces, and in an angle from the Lagna. So again, Taurus and Libra being Venus's own signs, and Pisces being its exaltation sign. And then being in a Kendra from the Lagna essentially means in the 1st house, the 4th house, the 7th, or the 10th house. And then you get the Malavaya Yoga in your chart. So now, since Venus rules essentially life's pleasures and our desires to fulfill them, much of life's suffering tends to be from paying a high price for our pleasure. And with this yoga, one is keenly aware of that price and the equation, and so rarely pays a high price for it. So there's that sort of intrinsic knowledge about, what to go after and what not to go after, what desire is actually fulfilling and what will help them in life. Venus is also the indicator of music and dancing and fine arts and luxury and relationships, material comforts, etc. So all of these are promised in a person's chart who has this yoga. Again, you have to wait for the Venus dasha or even the Antardasha, which will happen with other major planetary dashas for this to get activated. And of course, again, it depends on the strength of Venus and whether it's afflicted, etc. Now, lastly, we've got Saturn. Saturn produces what's called a Sasha Yoga. And this is, again, one of the 5 Mahapurush Raj Yogas. When Saturn is in Aquarius, Libra, or Capricorn, and in an angle. So again, Saturn's own signs are Capricorn and Aquarius, and its exaltation sign is Libra. And when you have this in a chart placed in the 1st, 4th, 7th, or 10th house, then you have what's called the Sasha Yoga. Sasha, actually the word itself means rabbit, symbolizing fear and uncertainty. So the person with this yoga tends to be very practical in a response to life's uncertainties. So they're quite sort of, they know how to navigate life and avoid some of those uncertainties if they have this yoga and it's well placed. So that's all for the Mahapurush Raj Yogas. I hope that you found that very helpful. Please subscribe below and check out my website. I've got some articles there that I've posted recently. Thank you, folks.